Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about how to glow from the inside out. And today I'm sharing with you some new hydrating toner reviews. That's right, these are toners I've never tried before. I've never spoken about on my channel. Brand spanking new. I've got toners from Equalberry, from Some by Me, and from Roundlab. So if you're so ready to dive into these toner reviews, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. Equalberry Swimming Pool Daily Facial Toner. Now, this one is getting a lot of attention and a lot of hype online recently. It has gone viral, right? Whatever viral means at this point in time, right? I feel like that word has lost a lot of its meaning because it's so overused these days. But needless to say, I mean, this is a toner you've probably already been hearing about. A lot of people are very excited about it, and it definitely gets a lot of hype. This is something I've been really interested in trying for a long time, and some of y'all have asked me to review this. So I'm really excited about this one. You know, this is a hydrating toner. They're using some really great humectant ingredients in here, like glycerin, betaine, and panthenol. Now, these are great humectant ingredients that bind water to the skin and help to hydrate the skin. And, you know, panthenol in particular is one that I always like to shed a little love and light on, because if you do have dehydrated skin, this is really an ingredient you should be including in your skincare routine, because not only does panthenol hydrate the skin, it actually helps to support the lipid layer in your skin, which strengthens your skin barrier. And your skin barrier is what holds onto hydration and resists the dehydration and the transepidermal water loss. So a nice strong moisture barrier is really key to fighting dehydration in the skin. And I love that panthenol has that double function, rehydrating the skin and then strengthening the functions that hold the hydration in place. But really, you know, this toner's claim to fame, if you will, and one of the ingredients that the marketing puts a lot of attention on is the protease in this formula. Now, protease is an ingredient that can help to gently encourage dead skin cells to shed away, and that means it's really good at addressing like rough and flaky skin. It can help gently with texture, but this is not a chemical exfoliant, not like your salicylic acids or your glycolic acids, right? Your AHAs and BHAs. It's not a chemical exfoliant. It's actually an enzyme. And because it's an enzyme, it works so much more gently on the skin. And really what it's doing, yes, it's exfoliating your skin technically because it's, you know, encouraging the dead skin cells to shed away. But you want to think about this less as an exfoliant and more as like a skin renewing, rejuvenating ingredient. You know, this is something that helps to address the buildup of dead skin cells. It's something that helps to renew the skin. It's actually an ingredient that can also help to support your skin barrier, especially if you have chronically dehydrated skin. Your moisture barrier is probably kind of always teeter-tottering in a weakened state. Protease, this enzyme is actually really great to help restore the proteins in the skin that help to support a strong and healthy moisture barrier. And I know a lot of folks get hung up on this ingredient thinking like, can I use this 2 times a day? Like, I have sensitive skin, I can't use chemical exfoliants. Can I use this ingredient? Is it going to be irritating? And my answer is probably yes, you can use this. Is it going to be irritating? Probably no. The only reason I say probably is just because everybody's different, right? But I will tell you, I do have sensitive skin, and while I can use aggressive ingredients like retinoids and chemical exfoliants, the balance of what my skin can take is very delicate. I have been using this toner 2 times a day, and I'm not feeling any irritation with this at all. The protease, I cannot emphasize enough, is so incredibly gentle. So the texture is really watery, but as you pour this out, you're going to notice that it has a little bit more bounce and a little bit more body to it while still being really runny and very fluid-like. There is this really beautiful slip to it and just a little bit of like a fullness to it. So it spreads across the face really beautifully, and it sinks in and absorbs very, very well. And it really does dive deep into the skin. You know, this is a quality that I talk about in a lot of my toner reviews. A toner either has it or it doesn't, right? But because I do suffer with dehydration, I really need a toner to go the extra mile and sink deeply into my skin and really deep down hydrate the skin with long lasting hydration, right? You know, those really, really thin, very, very watery toners that just like absorb super quickly, but they just feel like they just kind of penetrated just the first millimeter of your skin, right? Like there's just so light and just at the top of the skin. That's not going to cut it for me and my skin. You know what I mean? I need something that really feels like a deep drink of water. And with a name like swimming pool toner, you would expect that experience from this. And I got that experience from this. I was not disappointed. The name definitely promised a lot. I do feel that it delivered on a lot of hydration. It sinks in deep and just really kind of bursts into hydration deep within the skin. You know, as you're, patting this in or rubbing it in, however you like to apply toner, there's no right way. I know people like to argue about it. You can do it however you want to do it. Just get it into your skin, right? There is a slipperiness to this. It definitely has a little bit of that slip type feel. And sometimes I feel like that can dry down sticky in certain products, but with this one, I didn't feel a stickiness on my skin. My skin felt really plump and hydrated, but still like not weighed down and really breathable and just like really replenished, you know? And then at the top of the skin, it felt very, very soft. I think just because it just like gets deep in there and then just like tense your skin out with so much plump and juicy hydration. And I do think it will work for a majority of skin types. It has that beautiful texture that, sinks down deep, but doesn't dry sticky at the surface. It is layerable. I can put 2 layers of this onto my skin without it feeling thick or sticky. You could probably put more layers on, but you probably don't need to because of how hydrating it is. Some by Me Beta Panthenol Repair Toner. Now, this is a toner I was excited to try out because a couple of years ago, I actually reviewed the serum in the Beta Panthenol line from Some by Me, and I did enjoy it. So I've had my eye on the toner for a while. Now, Beta Panthenol, this is actually a combination of the 2 main ingredients in this toner. So Panthenol, which we've already covered, right? It's really a key humectant ingredient for dehydrated skin. It's incredibly hydrating, carries lots of water into the skin, but it also helps to support your skin barrier. Now, beta in this name actually refers to the ingredient beta-sitosterol. This is a fatty acid type of ingredient that's derived from a lot of different plant sources, fruits and nuts and seeds, and it basically functions similarly to cholesterol on the skin. And if you watch my other videos, I'm always talking about barrier care because I'm passionate about it. And I always say those 3 main ingredients for keeping your skin barrier strong are ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids. So this is a plant-based ingredient that helps to support your skin barrier. And if I haven't emphasized this enough, I'm going to say it again just because I am somebody who, as I've mentioned, I do have dehydrated skin and I could not address the symptoms of my dehydration. Like I could not get my dehydration to go away by just applying a lot of hydrating skincare. Because what I would do is I would layer on a lot of watery, lightweight, hydrating ingredients, but I would still lose a lot of the hydration through my skin by midday or to the end of the day. It's called transepidermal water loss, right? And so I put a lot of water onto my skin, and then a lot of water would escape through my skin, and then I would feel dehydrated. And then I would put more hydration on, and then the cycle would continue because dehydration is a symptom, and it's a symptom of a weak or damaged moisture barrier. So in order to break that cycle, if your dehydrated skin is driving you up the wall and you can't figure out how to keep the hydration into your skin, look at your skin barrier, incorporate those ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids into your skincare routine, strengthen up that skin barrier because your skin barrier, literally think about it as a barrier. It holds the hydration in place. And when it's weak, it can't do that job. And that's when transepidermal water loss occurs. Now we have some other great hydrating ingredients in here, including glycerin, betaine, trehalose, beta glucan, xylitol, and glucose. So quite a few of these ingredients are actually water binding sugar molecules. So they really bring in a lot of deep hydration into the skin. And then they're also using ceramide NP, which I already covered is great for barrier care. And they're also using some niacinamide, which is, we know it as a brightening ingredient, but it's also an ingredient that can help to strengthen your skin barrier. Technically, this toner does not contain fragrance. You will not find the words perfume or artificial fragrance or any type of essential oils or fragrant compounds. None of those ingredients are present on the list. However, even when something doesn't contain those fragrant ingredients, it can sometimes still be scented. right? There's a lot of different ways that you can scent a product without it technically having fragrance in it. Kind of a sneaky thing, right? So I did want to point this out. There are a couple of different waters and extracts being used here, including pear, plum, and melon extracts, as well as rose water. Now, these extracts and rose water we know are fragrant, right? They impart a smell, a delicate smell to skincare. And so they are going to have some trace fragrant compounds in them. I was actually quite taken aback by how scented this is. It's actually a really beautiful scent. I must admit, I think it's really nice. Reminding myself right now, it's very floral. It's very soft. It's almost like a creamy floral, which I really like. The rose water is in there, and then you get that kind of fruity hit with the extracts. But it is like, I can smell it just through the bottle right now. It is quite strong for something that's technically not fragrance. I would consider this a fragrant product. So the texture here is really interesting because it's really runny and really watery. And you know, when you look at it in the bottle, it kind of looks a little bit almost like creamy and milky, but it's actually very, very wet, you know, very runny, very hydrating. And it feels really nice. You know, there is a kiss of moisture to this, but it feels very, very replenishing and hydrating. It sinks into the skin really quickly. And like I said, there's just this like really like soft kiss of moisture right at the top. It's not heavy, it's not milky, it's not creamy, it's not greasy, it's not rich even. And just at the top, you get this very, very light softness and moisture. And it's very skin conditioning. Your skin feels very smooth at the top, and there's no hint of stickiness, no tackiness whatsoever. The texture itself is incredibly elegant, and it feels very, very good on my combination skin. I really like the texture of this. I like the hydration levels of this. I like that little hint of moisture while still being really lightweight, easy to layer up, and never sticky or greasy on my skin. I mean, even there's just this kiss of moisture, I can still see myself using something like this in the hottest weather, you know, possible, right? So like, I just want to emphasize how light and airy this is. Any skin type, I think, will enjoy this. However, that fragrance, man. Oh man, I wanted to like this so much. And then when I first put it onto my face, I was like, ooh, that is a very strong scent that I'm getting off of this. I'm like, but I like the scent. Like I find it very attractive, but it definitely perked up my skincare radar, if you will. I was like, I don't know about this. And so I used this a couple of times in a row, and I did like it, but eventually I was feeling like I had to discontinue using it because I think with the rose water probably. I have noticed rose water in a couple of other products that I've used over the last year that seem to really increase inflammation and redness in my skin over longer term use. While it's an ingredient that on contact doesn't bother my skin, as I continue to increase contact with my skin and use it consistently, my skin starts to feel more sensitized, a little bit, like I said, a little bit more prone to inflammation, more prone to redness. It's one of those like very, very vague things where if you weren't paying exquisite attention to your skincare and what you're using, you'd probably be like, I don't know what's going on with my skin all of a sudden. It's just like, it just doesn't feel like itself. Like it's just not quite in its perfect state right now. And it just doesn't feel strong and healthy. That's kind of where this was leading me down that road, where it was like, I'm going to start getting itchy. It's going to start feeling really irritated. The redness is really going to manifest if I don't stop using this now. But all that being said, if you're not sensitive to these plant extracts and to fragrance in general, I think you'll actually really like this one. And I do, like I said, I find the scent pleasant. It's just not an appropriate match for my skin type. Roundlab Soybean Panthenol Toner. Now, I had tried a soybean toner from Roundlab a few years ago, maybe 2 at this point, and I was like, oh, is it just sort of like repackaged? You know, is this the same toner? It just looks different. No, this is a new soybean toner from Roundlab. So the ingredients here are using black soybean extract. Now, soybean is actually really good for smoothing the skin with a lot of moisture, but also very skin conditioning. It acts as an antioxidant for the skin, which helps to protect the skin from damage from the sun, free radicals, environmental stressors. And, you know, the inflammation that those types of things can cause on the skin can actually damage the collagen structure. So while antioxidants are like, yeah, we kind of know what that is, it's like, actually, it plays a pretty crucial part in preventative well aging. So I always like that to point that out instead of just being like antioxidants, like, no, protects your skin from damage. But so I've Soybean is an antioxidant as well as an anti-inflammatory ingredient as well, and adds just a little kiss of moisture to the formula. Of course, they're using Panthenol, which we've covered extensively in the video already, right? Great for your skin barrier. And then they're using two different types of ceramides. We do also have cholesterol here and fatty acids. So as I've covered, those are amazing for your skin barrier, which helps to resist dehydration on the skin. And then they are actually using two exfoliating ingredients. They're using PHA, gluconolactone, as well as LHA, capryl salicylic acid. So PHA, gluconolactone, this is sometimes referred to as a new generation AHA. It does act similarly to, say, glycolic acid, mandelic, or lactic acids. So it exfoliates on top of the skin to shed away the dead skin cells. It addresses tone and texture of the skin, and really helps to smooth out the skin as well. It's very much like AHA, the way that it behaves. What's a little bit different about gluconolactone is that it's a little bit gentler. It's a little better tolerated by sensitive folks, and it doesn't make your skin as sensitive to the sun, as vulnerable to the photo damage that the sun causes when you're using a glycolic acid type of product, right? So those are the differences. But even though it is gentler, it's really important to remember that it is still a chemical exfoliant. Unlike how we talked about Pro-Tease at the beginning of the video, this is definitely still something that is offering that chemical exfoliating experience on the skin. It's just a little bit gentler. Now, LHA, very similar here, capryl salicylic acid, you guessed it, similar to BHA. So instead of exfoliating on the top like the gluconolactone in this formula does, the LHA actually is oil soluble, dives deep into the pores, and exfoliates inside the pore lining. And that's where things like congestion, clogged pores, acne, blackheads, that's where those things manifest, is deeper in the skin. And so this exfoliation is happening at that level and really good for addressing those types of things on the skin, right? And so again, here, newer generation BHA, it's just a little bit gentler, a little bit better tolerated by sensitive folks. But again, we are still in the realm of chemical exfoliation. So this one has an interesting texture because, again, when you look at it in the bottle, it seems to have like a cream-like appearance to it. And you're thinking, ooh, is this going to be like milky? Is it going to be really moisturizing, rich on the skin? But then when you pour it out, you see it's very runny, very fluidy. There's not a lot of body to this, and it sinks very quickly into the skin. And it does feel very refreshing and hydrating. And then similar to the Sun by Me, just like a kiss of moisture at the top. But the funny thing is, while it looks the creamiest of all the toners that I'm talking about today, it's actually the one that feels the lightest on my skin. It's definitely not rich or heavy or greasy at all. It doesn't leave a residue on your skin, and I don't find it sticky or tacky at all. It's very, very thin and lightweight. The hydration level here is good. And then again, it is one of the lighter ones in the video, so I feel like it's not as hydrating if we're going to do the comparison, right? It's not as hydrating as the other toners in today's video, but I do feel that the hydration level is good. You know what I mean? Maybe not great, but it's good. And so really interesting lightweight texture, very different than how it looks in the bottle. Now this one I was surprised by because they really lead with the soybean and with the Panthenol and with all the barrier supportive ingredients in the marketing of this product. And they don't really put a lot of light on the PHA and the LHA. Now, that's just the marketing that I read when I was looking into this product. It's possible that they are mentioning it, but I just didn't really feel like they were being very obvious about that. I saw it on the ingredients list when I bought it, but I was surprised that they weren't putting that front and center, because that is pretty important information for folks who have sensitive skin or who can't use a lot of chemical exfoliation. So this toner is being presented as a hydrating toner, but quite honestly, in my experience and the function of this product on my skin, it's really an exfoliating toner. Those two different exfoliants are pretty strong in this formula. And as I mentioned at the top of the video, I'm pretty sensitive to using too much exfoliation, and my balance of how much I can use like within a week is very, very delicate. And this toner pushes push me too far onto the other side of that. I was not able to use it 2 times a day for sure, and I wasn't even able to use it 1 time a day because the exfoliants in here actually started to make my skin feel a bit irritated and a bit over exfoliated because of everything else that I use. I want to be clear on that. So if you have a really strong exfoliation routine, this may not be a good addition for you. But if you're just starting your journey with chemical exfoliants, you don't want to use anything too strong, something you're afraid the minute it touches your skin barrier is going to be on fire or something, right? You want something gentle. I do think if you're not using other exfoliants, this toner is a gentle exfoliating toner. It's not really a very hydrating toner, in my opinion. It's more strictly in the exfoliation camp. And so who is this toner for? I think any skin type that's suffering with those skin conditions, all that texture and congestion, will enjoy this because it is just very thin and watery, quickly absorbed with no weight, no stickiness. So it's not going to pose a lot of textural issues. I think it's going to play well with other skincare products. But I guess I was just frustrated with this product because they should be more upfront about that, and they really should be marketing this as an exfoliating toner. I've been noticing this a lot more in K-beauty recently. They've been sneaking in PHA into a lot of products without really making it clear that the PHA, remember that gluconolactone, that AHA-like ingredient, is there. And sometimes that's okay, and depending on the balance of the formula, it's not really over exfoliating on the skin, and sometimes it can come off very strong. And I just think that that's important information, and it's not an ingredient that most people recognize, right? Gluconolactone, I'm going to say it one more time, right? Get familiar with this one if you are sensitive to exfoliants, because it's popping up, not even just in K-beauty now either. It's popping up in a lot of skincare products. And I think that formulators are kind of sneaking this one in because it does give nice results for smoothing out the skin. It gives good results for texture, and it brightens up your skin too. So even with like some barrier repair products that you put a touch of this in here, not only is your, maybe your barrier is good, but also your skin is getting gentle exfoliation. And of course, it's going to look more rejuvenated and healthy and brighter and glowier, right? And you're going to be like, wow, this is the most amazing serum, but you're not quite sure why it is. It's the gluconolactone. And I've been seeing it getting snuck into a lot of formulas, but not a lot of marketing really keying in on that ingredient. And I think it's important if you have sensitive skin, right? It's really easy to overdo it and not know this ingredient is in your routine, because it's even happened to me in the past. So that's my spiel about this one. It was kind of a disappointing toner for me. I think it's still a good product. Like I said, I'm going to recommend it for that very specific situation with congestion, right? And then just be aware of those ingredients. But for me, I was a little bit, I felt a little hoodwinked, with this one. All right, so I kind of struck out here on this one. I really like the Equalberry toner. The other ones, they have their place. They're not for me, but Equalberry, the one I was kind of convinced I wasn't going to like, I actually really, really do enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed that new round of toner reviews. Have you tried any of these products yet? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you love this video and it was helpful for you, you love hydrating toners and K-beauty, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Come join our skincare community, because that's what my channel is all about. I love K-beauty. I love hydrating toners. I love gentle skincare. So turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I love you so much. Thanks for being here with me today. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and I just want to encourage you to keep shining your light. I love you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.